Hello and welcome to Fearless DIY Music. My name is Tristan Lass, and today I'm joined by my dear friend Kevin Gamble. We have an exciting topic today, something that we're both quite happy about. And if you read the thumbnail, you probably already have a good idea of what that is. But before we launch in, I wanted to go ahead and announce that I'm in the works, probably in the next few days. All of the Conversations with Kevin episodes will be in a playlist that will be available on the YouTube platform as podcasts. I recently discovered that this is a super easy thing to do. If you don't want to have your YouTube app open and you have a video going, we are going to go ahead and facilitate podcasts, and I will eventually probably be creating other playlists available for podcast streaming from other video series that I've done that are not reliant upon visuals heavily. So anyway, we're going to jump into some podcasting. What do you think about that, Kev? It's super easy. It's super easy. I mean, and it'll give people another option and another avenue to find us. So,
yep, it's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah,
Glad to be involved.
Yeah, I don't even know why I never thought of it before. And then it's just like, I kind of looked into it and I'm like, oh, well, that'll be great. So exciting stuff ahead. But more exciting than that is the fact that in the past week, Rush has, announced that Geddy and Alex have gotten together with a new drummer and potentially a touring keyboardist as well, and they are going to bring the show back to life. They're going to come out and play live again. And, for years I thought about the prospect of this, and I was like, meh. That was kind of like I was just like, well, without Neil, is it Rush and all this kind of stuff. But after watching those two just like talking about what they've been going through, the process they've gone through, how they vetted Annika, the new drummer, discovering more about her, and then just the enthusiasm is infectious. It just, the joy overwhelmed me. Any reservations that I had went out the window. And of course, Kevin and I started texting and we're like, should we try to go see them? And so right now, we're tentatively planning on maybe trying to get some tickets. And if that happens, I mean, we might have to do a travel log video of our journey, our pilgrimage to go see Rush, because Kevin's never seen them. I have seen them before. So anyway, I just wanted to express my complete and utter excitement about this. Rush to me is... This is a story that's been told a million times by a million different kids from our era, especially. Meant so much to me personally. I feel like reading the liner notes while listening to those albums the first time were transformative for me, both intellectually, emotionally, and of course just the musical impact of everything. And I can't underestimate that during my junior high school years, as it used to be called, middle school now, I really credit Rush with opening a lot of doors for me. Like I said, intellectually particularly, because, Didax and Narpits, what are those? So I'd go to a dictionary and start looking up what in the hell, Neil is talking about in the lyrics. And then, of course, the music was just so spectacular. So anyway, we are very, very excited. I kind of wanted to go ahead and hand the floor over to Kevin. My first reaction was, after watching them talking about it and kind of doing the announcement, was just like, I was just happy. I don't know how else to describe it. That's a rare, pure emotion for me when it comes from things external to my little inner circle world. And it really made me happy. So Kev, what did you think when you heard about this?
Well, I think you touched on a lot of what kind of makes this special. There's just a way that people have connected to this band, ourselves included, for so long that is so personal. And even though we're all in the syndrome that Neil talked about in Limelight, where we're looking from afar and we're the strangers feeling like we're happy for our long lost friends, but nonetheless, that's the reality of it. And I have the same kind of feeling about how personally and emotionally and intellectually, these guys were part of who we are and part of how we developed. And so I think that I don't know. I think there's something they have always tapped into that's a sense of possibility, maybe a
Hmm.
sense of wonder, a sense of curiosity, a sense of amazement, and a sense of camaraderie that runs through all of that. And all those things get triggered when we hear something like this, where it's it's just like we feel like in some way we're all part of this journey, and it it has that kind of personal resonance. But I felt the same kind of thing. I've been not necessarily thinking it would happen, but watching all the little
No.
threads that have run through things over the last few years since Peart's passing, and whether it's Getty's books, and anyone who hasn't already checked out his autobiography, especially the audio version of it where he reads everything, and as well as Alex reading some of it is in places, really worth checking that out. But and then from what we've read and heard in videos and so forth about Alex's reluctance to kind of fire up the engines again and tour and all that kind of thing, nonetheless, he's been active musically and working on side projects,
Yeah.
and playing impromptu shows with all kinds of different people over time. It really does feel like one of the takeaways from this is kind of like, whatever the phrase might be, keep your powder dry. It's like these guys
Hmm.
have done what they need to do to stay connected to this and create the possibility that if the circumstances were right, and now it seems that they are, this could happen. So just, yeah, so many different feelings and emotions connected to it.
Well, it all kind of makes sense. There's been a number of, a number of interviews over the past 2, 3 years where they're like, "Oh yeah, we get together and we're just jamming down in the basement." It's almost like they were broadcasting a little teaser for the past few years, because you have to know that probably the first time they sat down there and then they, played some Rush tunes like seriously, and then we're like, "Oh, well, maybe we should actually really try to play this." I can just
Yeah.
imagine them sitting down there and just like kicking around and doing it, and then that possibility just keeps growing, because it sounds like the drummer's involvement has been for some time. It's not like that just happened in
Yeah.
the past couple weeks and they're just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
we're ready to go."
Or
No,
could it? Yeah.
yeah, so they've been kind of like teasing it a little bit. It feels like now in retrospect, which is cool. Um, just the fact that those two have been together forever, since what they met in middle school, I think,
Hmm.
and so they've been friends forever, partners forever with the band and musically, and to see them just like it's just, I guess it was just irresistible at a certain point, and I can see that when you have a body of work like they had, the fandom that they have, and you have to think that they're thinking about the fans. That's one of the things I liked about the announcement, was just like, and we want to make you happy. They said that. And I was just like, there's something unique about those two, just because they're
Yes.
real people. They have
Hmm.
real families. They've always taken their real lives into consideration as much as the music itself and the touring. They never became subsumed in stardom. They're very approachable people, and it is just such a unique story. And I'm excited that maybe we'll get a chance to go see them, and we'll become a little part of that story as well. And I think that's how everybody feels. It'd be like, oh well, I get to be a little part of this too. And I think that that's super compelling, super unique, and yeah, I'm stoked about it. And the more I've studied up on Annika, she seems like just a really interesting story of her own. Somebody who forged her own way through the music morass to rise to the top in her field. And I love her drum sounds too. They're very unique and very dry cymbals,
Yes. Hmm.
unique use of second snare as a tom. She has her own thing, and I think that probably really appealed to the two of them as well. That she's not you could say Danny Carey, or somebody like that would be a more ideal stand-in for Neil. But I think that they're too beholden to Neil almost, and wouldn't have the flexibility and fluidity. And I think that she's just going to like play the songs the way that her interpretation of them, being faithful, I'm sure. But I think that probably was a huge catalyst, because it's hard to find a top-notch rock drummer out there that would be available to do this with them, who wouldn't be too beholden to Neil. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be almost
Yeah.
like, a bad cover band version. And I think that she's going to bring something
Yes.
different to the table. So,
Yeah, and I saw an interview with Getty and Alex just the other day that apparently was from October and may have been like the in-person announcement to the people there, that even before the public one, that they were touring. But Getty mentioned something that I thought was telling, is that it's essentially you can find a lot of people who can play Rush songs, but it's very hard to find people who play Rush songs the way that Getty and Alex want them to be played,
yeah.
in the nuances, in the small details, and the kind of things you're talking about, where does it feel like someone's imitating? Does it feel like,
Hmm.
I'm speculating what that means, but there's a lot of things that they've just instinctively felt over the last 50 years are just, this is how this sounds. When we play this music, this is what instinctively comes from out behind us, that envelops this entire thing. And for them to have found someone who they think meets that threshold enough to do this, and because that always seemed like the big logistical hurdle, like you said,
Yeah.
can you find someone who could commit to an ongoing effort, of this magnitude? You couldn't have a round robin assortment of drummers every time. It would be
No.
chaos for the lead guys unless they took it more casually than it seems possible to take this kind of music. So, yeah, that to me, that's the biggest testament to her, and what I'm kind of looking forward to seeing and hearing more about is, she's not just good enough to play the songs. She is someone they felt that they could actually function as a band with for the
Hmm.
time that they're on stage and delivering this stuff. And so that's a really special thing, and something that, yeah, didn't seem like it was possible without the professor in the show.
Yes, indeed. So it's just it's super cool. I'm just really really excited. It'll be interesting to see where the set lists go. They. I wonder if they'll sit back and like reflect and be like, oh, the things that we were doing on the R40 tour, what did we leave out? Or will it just be like, no, we just have to do we have to do, we know the songs are going to have to play. But, I'd like to see him sneak something like Cygnus X1 in, or something like that,
That would be great. Yeah.
But,
They'll just do the Necromancer 6 times in a row
oh,
on every
God.
set.
Yeah, they just play Caress of Steel back to back. I would be happy as hell to hear that.
That would be remarkable.
I would,
But yeah.
I would be fine with that, but I think most people wouldn't be. Well, that's the album you and I bonded over. I was just like, well,
Yeah,
you think
yeah,
you
and
know
that's,
Rush? Well, if you can get through,
that.
if you can learn to love Caress of Steel, then you really are a Rush fan. And
Yeah,
but I
that's
always that
honestly that's why I wore this T-shirt, because I was just wearing it last night. It's our old school high school logo, and I wanted to just quickly mention, that's where we first connected
yeah.
over, well, in as people, and over Rush was one of the very first things. I had been listening to current day Rush
Hmm.
since middle school, everything that was on MTV. But when you handed me that Caress of Steel tape in high school, that was kind of my door into the early history of Rush,
Yeah.
which it was and has been an ongoing revelation. But also the reason I wore this shirt this weekend is because my older son is in marching band, and was in a marching band competition, and kind of a testament to the ways that we connect to this music and the ways that we connect to music in general, and a shout out to all the people out there who are renewing kids' connection to this kind of music. So this kind of association we have with the band, this kind of
Yeah.
personal connection we have to music and how it has shaped our lives can continue. And I know that, our kids have all connected to music, the real thing of music in different ways. But, part of this feeling with Rush for me is just this lifelong, one way or another, we get connected to this energy, and it's a shared experience. And as long as kids are continuing to do that, it creates that sense of possibility that this band has, represented for so long. But just a little nod to all the threads that get woven through our lives thanks to Rush.
Oh, sure. But yeah, it's just when I discovered I worked my way backwards. Of course, I became kind of a Rush fan really early because I heard Fly By Night on KFMZ, and that's when I got hooked. And that would have been what, 75. 76, somewhere in there, where that was in heavy rotation on the playlist. So I remember, and then, Tom Sawyer and all that stuff was just like bonus material to me later on, where I was just like, these songs, they're still great, in Spirit of Radio and just all of that stuff.
Yes.
That was that was huge. They just sustained it and did such a great job with everything. Well, anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. This is just a fandom video. We're a little, I'm getting a little teary-eyed, and it's like, and just the idea. I wanted to throw out the thing about the podcast for sure, because I think that's going to be good for a lot of people. And also, if we do somehow manage to score tickets to this thing, I do plan on doing some sort of documentation of it for the channel, so that we can, take those who do not get the opportunity to see them a little travelogue, or just something informal and fun, and we'll bring that to you if we have the opportunity. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it to this point in the video, please hit that subscribe button. Likes and shares are also greatly appreciated. And leave something in the comments. Are you as excited as we are? Are you going to be queuing up tomorrow to try to get tickets? We'll just see what happens. It will have been a few days ago once this airs, but let us know in the comments if you got tickets or not. That'd be super cool. All right, you take care, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time.